You were not born to be understood. You were programmed to obey by emotion, by fear, by the illusions they fed you. But now, you're here to burn that program, line by line, thought by thought, until control flips. This is not for the empathetic, not for the fragile, not for those begging to be liked. This is mental warfare. Every trick you're about to see doesn't manipulate emotions. It rewires them. What follows is not psychology. It's psychological command. You won't be shown how to be liked. You'll be taught how to be obeyed, how to embed ideas so deep in their minds, they'll confuse your intent with their desire. Let's get something clear. You are not here to connect. You are here to control. And the methods you'll learn, they don't just work once. They work every time, on anyone. Because they bypass logic, hijack emotion, and embed compliance. This is not charisma. It's covert domination. Every tactic you're about to absorb has been carved from manipulation theory, trauma response, attention hijacking, and behavioral predictability. And once you master them, they'll stop seeing you as human. They'll see you as something else. Someone who doesn't argue to win. Someone who doesn't persuade with words. Someone who bends the room without raising their voice. If you think this is going to teach you social tricks, leave. If you want to be loved more than respected, click off. But if you're ready to walk through people's emotional firewalls like they're glass, if you're ready to make your silence louder than their screams, then stay. But understand, every tactic you learn here comes with a price. The stronger you become, the more distance you create. And if you go too far, you might never come back. This isn't a pep talk. This is a psychological override. One built for those tired of being prey. One forged for those ready to own the mental battlefield. Stay, or don't watch at all. Either way, the weapons are being revealed. Part 1. The unseen strings. You don't dominate people by force. You dominate them by precision. By pulling the strings they never see until they dance exactly how you want. These are not influencer hacks. These are neural invasions. Every tactic below weaponizes psychology to bypass resistance, override logic, and embed suggestion like code in a machine. You're not here to influence. You're here to puppet. Drill 1. The emotional mirror trap. This tactic turns your silence into their self-exposure. People don't want truth. They want reflection. The brain craves familiarity. Mirror their words, tone, body posture, then sharpen it subtly. Their subconscious begins to feel seen, so walls drop. Now their confessions pour out, not to you, but to their own projection. Execution instructions start by mirroring micro behaviors, posture, breathing rhythm, speech pacing. In conversations, echo key emotional words they use, but twist them into questions. They say, "I'm tired." You respond, "Tired or drained by something deeper?" They won't feel manipulated. They'll feel understood, and they'll give you everything without realizing. Outcome, you become their safest space, which means you become their most dangerous one. They'll think they chose to trust you, but you wrote that decision in invisible ink. Drill 2. The confusion lock. This tactic scrambles their logic so you can rewrite their thoughts. Cognitive dissonance paralyzes the mind. When you say something that contradicts what they expect, their brain stalls. In that pause, you insert command. Disorientation becomes domination. Use paradoxes. I know you're lying because you're too honest. Make statements that blur compliments with confrontation. Inject subtle double binds. Are you avoiding the truth or just scared of saying it out loud? Then follow with calm certainty. Their need for mental order will make them adopt your frame just to resolve the tension. Outcome, they'll feel like you always know something they don't, like you see through them, which means they'll follow you just to stop questioning themselves. Drill 3. The Scarcity Echo. This tactic makes them beg to be chosen. Scarcity activates survival. When you position your attention as rare, their mind labels it as valuable. When you delay validation, they crave it. When you give silence instead of praise, they chase. Withdraw presence at high points. After intense connection, disappear for 48 hours. After complimenting, shift coldly. Give breadcrumbs of attention, then vanish. Every delay creates emotional spike. Every withdrawal is not rejection. It's a trigger. Outcome, they'll become addicted to winning you back. And in the process, you'll program them to chase what once felt neutral. Drill 4. The reversal frame. This tactic flips power by changing perception. Control the frame. You control the game. When someone accuses, reverse it calmly. Their aggression turns into self-doubt. Example them. You're manipulating me. It's strange that you feel controlled when I said nothing. They now question their own mind. Speak slowly. Pause often. Use soft contradictions. Shift blame with questions, not arguments. I find it interesting that you're so certain. What made you draw that conclusion? Just reframe. Outcome: you are no longer the participant. You are the author of perception. Their mind bends around yours, like metal around fire. Drill 5. The identity insertion. This tactic makes your words become their inner voice. People are starved for identity. If you give them a label with emotion attached, they'll wear it. Say, you've always been the kind of person who, their brain starts acting in line with that script. Use affirmations embedded with action triggers. You don't just think deep, you dissect reality. You don't react, you calculate. Attach praise to behavior you want repeated. Do it calmly, rarely, and with intensity. Outcome: they will unconsciously adjust to your framing, not to impress you, but because you've told them who they are. And humans obey identity far more than logic. These are not tricks, these are injections. Each one designed to collapse resistance and insert control at the root level. Now they won't just listen. They'll think in your voice, move in your shadow, follow, because their mind thinks it chose you. But you know better. You didn't manipulate, you rewrote. The hidden infection: you thought the darkness only lived in others. But the moment you mastered it, it began to eat you too. You wanted control, you took it. You pulled strings, you erased resistance, you bent people like wires, and it worked. But there's a price for becoming untouchable. The mind that rewrites others eventually loses pieces of itself. These aren't side effects. These are the shadows that follow every manipulator home. And they don't knock, they sink. Warning 1. Identity rots. You trained yourself to stay cold, to silence emotions, to execute tactics without flinching. But in killing your reactions, you also killed your reflection. Emotional suppression feels like evolution, until you realize you no longer recognize what makes you you. Memories once rich with color now play like surveillance footage. Numb, flat, mechanical. You forget what joy tasted like. Not because it's gone, but because you stopped tasting it all. Your memories decay into data, your relationships into roles, your childhood into a myth. This is the first erosion. The past slips away, not with screams, but with silence. And one day, you wake up perfectly in control, but a stranger to your own story. Warning 2. Predator's curse. The longer you wear power, the less you feel the weight of it. You become efficient, precise, feared, but you also become empty. People stop speaking honestly to you. They filter, obey, conform, not because they trust you, but because they're scared to wake the monster you now keep too close to the surface. You say you're strong, but the truth is, you've replaced connection with compliance, and your dominance becomes your drug. Every interaction turns into a calculation. Every moment, a move on a chessboard. But here's the paradox. You're never really connected again. You're just surrounded by people trying not to trigger you. You don't lead. You command, and deep down you know it. Warning 3. The void crown. You've become unbreakable. The blade never hits. The fire never burns. You've built walls so thick, nothing gets in. Not criticism, not betrayal, not loss. But here's the unspoken cost. When nothing breaks you, nothing moves you. You sit in your own fortress, untouched and alone. Conversations feel like transactions. Affection feels like intrusion. Connection feels inefficient. You don't crave company anymore. Not because you've transcended loneliness, but because you've buried it so deep, it can't scream loud enough to reach your awareness. You are surrounded by people who admire you, but none who truly see you. Because you've made yourself unreadable, unreachable, unreal. This is not invincibility, it's emotional extinction. You wanted to become the master. You succeeded, but the master always pays with his humanity. These aren't warnings. They're tombstones of others who walked this path and became ghosts in their own lives. You can still turn back, or you can walk deeper, but don't lie to yourself. This isn't a game, it's a transformation. And monsters don't cry when they lose their soul, because they don't remember they ever had the return to precision. You built the weapon. Now you learn how to carry it without bleeding those who never earned your rage. Strength without precision is brutality. Power without a code becomes chaos in a tailored suit. You don't need to soften. You need to sharpen where it matters. This isn't a surrender to emotion. It's a reinstallation of control. With meaning, with conscience, with surgical intent. Outro. The monster Vess. The master, you learned to kill the part of you that broke. But now you must decide what replaces it. There are two outcomes to this power: the monster and the master. The monster devours everything. Ruthless, cold, unreachable. He wins but forgets why he started. He builds walls so high, not even his own voice can echo back through them. He becomes feared, but never felt. And in the end, he controls everything except himself. The master is different. He's just as unshakable, just as dangerous. But he doesn't destroy for sport. He doesn't dominate to fill silence. He leads without needing submission. He stays human by choice, and that's the difference. Anyone can burn the world to feel strong, but it takes precision to hold the match and not strike. You've learned the hack. You've seen the warnings, and now you stand at the edge, weapon in hand, heart still beating. The next move rewires your entire identity. Not just what you can take, but what you choose to carry. The monster reacts. The master decides. So ask yourself, did you build this power to disappear or to finally arrive? Stay sharp, stay human, on purpose. Because the most dangerous thing in the world is a heart that's never controlled you, but has always been yours.